Hey everyone, this is Mike,
And this is Josh.
and we are Real Dead. And I'm going to tell you what, you need to stick around to the end of this because my wife and I were driving home, and I gave her my opinion of how this movie ended, and it just went totally over her head.
And then Mike told me and my wife, because me and my wife saw this movie earlier, and we did not get that at all. It's a twist that I did not even realize, and now it makes sense.
Stick with us. Here's the intro, and then we'll talk about the movie. Let's go. All right, Josh, here we got Presents, and I think this thing actually came out about a year ago, right? And it's just really released just now in 2025.
Right. So it's the Sundance. It was released Sundance, and so people saw this a while ago. But I haven't seen a ton of negative towards this movie. The first review I watched when I got home, because I didn't watch any reviews. Point blank, I tried not to. I'm gonna try not to do that this year. So the first one I watched was negative towards the movie, but then basically every other one I watched after that was pretty positive against them or towards the movie. I'm very positive on this movie. And I think this movie might have some staying power, Mike, because I think it can be interpreted, even though on my non-spoiler review, which me and my wife did, check that out. But we both said it's like a one-timer. I'm kind of thinking it's not now that I understand. Mike told me the twist, and that's the twist, if that's what they're going with, which I don't know if it's 100% true yet, it's kind of like your interpretation. Like maybe this can be watched on multiple viewings, like a Hereditary or something like that it rewards you after multiple viewings. So, you know, yeah. So what's your thoughts, Mike?
So let's jump into what about this movie. Number one, so far it's early out. It's got an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes. Not anything on the popcorn meter because not enough people have put their answers in on that for it yet. It does have a cast and crew, a really small cast overall. There's some painters and stuff. This is spoilers, by the way. Spoiler alert! It already says that in the title. But you got Lucy Liu, who I didn't even pick up that was Lucy Liu. I don't know why. So in this movie, it's got Lucy Liu, Julia Fox, who's a realtor in it, got Chris Sullivan, and I was trying to figure out who that guy was, and my wife used to watch a show called This Is Us, and that's who the actor is in that. So I like him as well. And Steven Soderbergh is the director in this movie. So there was also two other teenagers, and then another friend, Tyler Ryan, and I can't remember, Blue, maybe is her name.
No, her name's Chloe, I think.
Is that the daughter? Her middle name was Blue, maybe.
Her middle name Blue.
Yeah. So those are the main characters in this movie overall. And, one thing I liked about this movie, Josh, and I think we kind of just dive right into the pros and cons. Or let me tell you you want to talk about the movie first and then talk about pros and cons? We'll just give you a very quick speed on this movie. It's about a family drama. They move into a house. It's a suburban home. Once they're in there, you start finding out the family drama in this, right, Josh?
Which I think the family drama is very intriguing. All the dynamics, and you're trying to figure things out about this family, I feel, and that kind of keeps you in the movie because it is a slow start.
It's very slow. So yeah, you got a family drama going on where the daughter has lost a friend. Supposedly everybody's saying it was because of drugs. Then you got a son who's kind of a jerk, who's on the swim team and just thinking about himself.
He's
a mom who's Lucy Liu's character, who's very obviously favors her son. Everything she's doing for her son. Also, she's doing something illegally, and they never really tell us what she's doing illegally.
You think it's embezzling, Mike?
I think it was something to do with embezzling or doing something like that. Because at one point of this, Chris Sullivan's character makes a call to a friend of a friend. Hey, I know this guy, and if they get in big trouble, what happens? Do they need to be divorced, separated, whatever? So all this family drama stuff's going on, and the daughter starts seeing things. I think the first thing that happened was a book got moved off of her bed.
All of her school, like books and her notebook and her pencil, all got moved.
So things like this start happening throughout the movie. Her brother's a friend at this new school comes in, and the guy kind of looks a little shady. They of course doing some teenage stuff, some drinking. Then he starts pulling some pills out and trying to lace his friend's daughter's drink. So in my mind, Josh, I'm thinking is I know this sounds crazy, but I'm thinking, is the brother trying to kill his sister, or is this guy, doing something? He's just trying to, date rape her. I mean, that's still major.
No. But listen, why would he need to date rape her? At this point, he already had sex with her. He literally just got done having sex with her. So why would he drug her to rape her?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was trying to do that earlier. You're right, in the movie.
He didn't, but when he first started hanging out with her, he didn't try anything. He just basically tried to gain her trust, which he did. He also, you could tell that he was having a rough go at life. I mean, he had like a tear run down his cheek when he was like telling her about, when he was holding her and comforting her when she was crying about her friend that drug overdosed. He was saying, I don't have any control. My mom makes all my decisions about my life. I literally have no control of my life. And like, you see a tear. And
he said, in this relationship with you, you have the control. You can say when to stop, when not to stop.
Yep. But he doesn't try anything the first time, Mike. It's only after they've been seeing each other, kind of in a secret relationship, is when he tries to drug her drink after he already had sex with her, like literally 5 minutes afterwards. So you're like, wait, what's he trying to do here?
Right. And it looked like at the very beginning they were doing drugs anyway, the first time they met. They had the aluminum foil on the table, and it looked like they were doing drugs, mushrooms or something. Because her brother made a comment, I don't believe in all these other drugs, but if it's natural, I'm okay with it,
Right, yes, they were doing some kind of, I don't know if it was like an edible or something, but right. I don't think it was a heavy drug. It could have been, but right. Yeah, you're right. But he didn't try anything at that point. He just
then also her brother was like, saying that she's all full of drama, trying to bring up these things about seeing things and hearing things. And in my mind, I'm thinking the brother is trying to get his best friend to give her drugs, because he brings up in the movie, like, Dad, just have her drug test. She's on drugs. She's doped out of her head. That's my version, but she's drugged out. So this whole thing, there's a lot of drama and dramatic stuff going on, and you don't know what's going on. Even at one time, I'm thinking, is the mother trying to have her son kill her daughter because those two are so tight?
Oh, I never thought any of that.
When I'm watching a movie, I'm always constantly thinking of plots in the movie.
Mike, so unlike The Wolfman, you didn't predict this one.
No, I actually in this movie leaned over and told my wife that I felt like her brother was the killer. And what I thought, and the way the movie makes you think, is that her best friend who died of a drug overdose, supposedly, Nadia, is who she is saying she is seeing things in the house. Things are happening in the house.
It makes you think it's Nadia. It makes you think it's Nadia.
We really need to really say this. In my opinion, the shooting of this film was awesome. That's what made it different. It was from the view of the entity or the ghost.
And I was very skeptical. I told Mike this before I saw the movie, because In a Violent Nature did not work for me the way you saw it from The Killer, because it was boring and some stuff was cool, but for the most part, it just didn't work with the walking and stuff. This worked a lot better, in my opinion.
So let's jump straight to the end. All this stuff happens. It's only an hour and 25 minutes. You want me to say it, Josh, or you want to?
Go ahead.
So the guy, the young man, the friend of the brother, is his name Ryan? I can't remember his name again. Is it Ryan?
I don't know.
He comes over. He tells the girl that, hey, I'm going to come over for the weekend. Her parents are going over. And she's like, well, what about my brother? He's here. And he's like, let me handle that. Well, he comes over. His friend is listening to music. He goes in there, gets vodka and some orange juice, puts something in his drink.
A pill, sleeping pill. Sleeping pill.
he's knocked out. So then he goes upstairs and he comes in there and starts talking to the girl, and he's already drugged her drink as well before he goes up there. So
and the drug is synthetic fentanyl that he poured into her drink.
Wow. So when he gets up there, she drinks it. Other things at times in the movie, like when he had something in her drink, something happened and like it fell off, and you kept thinking the ghost is doing that, knocking the drink off or whatever. She does drink this. He's laying on the bed with her, and he's like rubbing her hair, and then all of a sudden she kind of goes out of it, and then it comes out that he pulls out this little tube like this of saran wrap, stretch film, and it comes out that he's the killer. He's killed her friend previously, and he said he had met a friend of hers once before. There's been 2 young girls been killed in the past.
And they blamed it on drug overdose because they had fentanyl in their system because he put it there.
Right. And listen, he takes that plastic, he's sick, and he puts it over her nose and mouth, and he's like teasing her to death. Take it away, put it on. Take it away.
He says, I gave you the control, but now I have all the control over how long you live and how long you don't. And he said, your body can't move because her body is like from the fentanyl. And he says, but you can hear everything I'm saying. And that's crazy, dude. And he's like putting that little thing over her face and taking it away, putting it back, like just, And also, listen, I'm remembering this right now. The brother mentioned earlier in the movie, oh, man, this popular guy in our school, he came and sought me out as a friend.
Yeah.
And that's because he wanted to get close to his sister. That's the only reason.
Right. So during this whole time, back step a little bit, during all this family drama, the dad reaches out to a friend of a family to come out and is a like ghost hunter or some kind of medium or something like that. And they come out in the house. They kind of say, oh, some things are going on crazy here. It's really strong. And, it doesn't know if it's in the past, present, or future. Those aren't exact words, but similar to that.
Time works differently for a spirit.
Right. So she kind of acts all sick. They give her some water, and then the husband comes over and really just solicits some money from him. So you think the whole thing's full of crap. They go out, and then a couple of days later, she comes back, and the father stops her out there and won't even let her come in the house and says, our family doesn't want you here. And she's like, well, something happens. I had a dream. And in that dream and nightmare, there was a window that would not open. So that happens. Well, he goes up to the bedroom. He does this to the girlfriend or the girl he's going to kill. Then
the sister.
All of a sudden,
the sister is being tortured by the friend. And then all of a sudden, the spirit is watching all this happen and can't do anything about it. So he travels downstairs, the spirit, wakes this guy's up in his ear, like screaming. He wakes up, he's groggy, and then he realizes, like, Chloe, my sister, like, what's going on? Where's this guy at? He runs upstairs. He sees the guy on top of his sister knocked out. So he ambushes the guy. Boom. They crash through the second-story window onto the pavement, both dead. And then what happened, Mike?
So they're both dead, and then they show the view again from looking from the ghost view, and the house is empty. And the mother, is upstairs in the bedroom where all this stuff took place, looking down,
She's grieving. She's grieving now.
Right. And so then it goes downstairs, and the mother is looking out the window. She's very upset, and they're like, Mom, it's time to go. And she walks over to this old mirror, which this house was over 100 years old, really cool house. And earlier in the movie, the medium had said that these old mirrors are like a conduit for the ghost. So she puts her hand up there, and then as soon as she does, she sees her son in the mirror.
Yep.
And then his sister falls down the ground, and she's crying, and the mother's like, "Oh, he's here! He's here! I felt him here!" And the whole time, Nadia had been saying, not Nadia, his sister had been saying that the whole time, thinking it was Nadia. So after the movie, and that's kind of how it ends. It kind of just ends sudden. Well, I'm hanging out. There's one other guy in the theater. I come out, me and the guy's talking about the movie, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I like that movie or not. And I said, is it Nadia or is it her brother? I said, I kind of think it's his brother. And she's like, yeah, it's her brother the whole time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of pick up on that. Well, I'm driving home with Michelle, and then we just do a MF, a mind F on her. And I'm like, you picked up the brother was the killer. And she's like, no, or the ghost. And she's like, no, I thought it was Nadia. So then we started replaying it, and it made more sense. It made more sense to me. So
he was protecting his sister the whole time. His dad through the whole movie. His dad through the whole movie is telling him, protect your sister. And he does. But in the afterlife, that's why I think maybe it's like the ghost is replaying it and like has a chance to go make it right. That's what it's all about, I think, Mike. Like he's gonna make it right, but in the past, but he'll still be a ghost and be dead.
When he was alive, his dad told him, says take your sister's side one time and defend her. Because he was always constantly saying, oh, it's always about her. She's attention seeking. She's on drugs. I'm the jock. I'm the swim guy. I'm the one that deserves all the attention. But really, throughout the movie, him as the ghost, he was defending her all the time. He was making the table shake. When she was about to have sex with his best friend, he made the closet fall down. There's numerous things you go back and think about it, and he really did this stuff trying to protect his sister the whole time.
Yeah, yep. The one thing, so there's a couple of things I didn't understand, but we don't have to get into that now. But what do you like? I think that so the movie ends with him being a ghost, and the mother now can sense it because she's experienced extreme grief from losing her son, just like her daughter experienced extreme grief from losing her friend. That's how she could sense it. So, like, that's what the medium said. If something happens to you, it can open a door to you be able to sense these type of things. And that's what happened with the mother now.
Yeah. They were wanting to leave the house, and mother was wanting to stay because she still wanted to be there with her son as the ghost. Him as the ghost in the house.
Yeah.
So overall, my pros and cons. I'm going to go over my cons first. Acting was okay. It wasn't Academy Award winning. I don't know if that's really a con, but it may be an in between. The biggest thing for me was it was extremely slow at the beginning. I'd say the first 30, 45 minutes.
It was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 slow starting out.
Yeah, but it was really bad. It was really, really slow. I mean,
I'm teasing Mike.
It probably took off 2 points for me just on how slow it was. Maybe in 2.5. It was that slow.
I didn't mind the build because I was interested in the family dynamic, Mike. It didn't bother me at all, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of your cons and what are some of your pros, Josh?
I think the pros is how it's shot. I think from the view of the ghost, I wouldn't mind seeing more movies like this, actually. Unlike In a Violent Nature, I don't want to see any more movies like that. But this, I'd like to see maybe something else done with this because you could do different stories from like a ghost perspective. I wouldn't mind that, Mike, honestly. So yeah, how it's shot. The acting, some of it was yeah, and I like this because it wasn't a typical of I'm a ghost, I'm a spirit, I'm a demon, and I'm terrorizing people. It wasn't that at all, and I enjoyed that. I thought that's what we were going to get. I will say
this: there's not many jump scares in it, and there's not many deaths and killings in it. So
well, it's not really a scary movie at all. It's not a horror movie.
If you're looking for a really horror, like you're like, oh, this is going to be so scary, like Paranormal Activity or anything like that, is not even close to being jump scares or scary stuff like that. I mean,
it's a good story, though. It's a good story.
Yeah, I'd say it's more of a thriller. I don't know if I'd even call it a horror, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
All right, so Josh, I think you gave now that we've found out.
I'll still stick with mine, 7.5.
Okay, so you're going to say 7.5. So I'm going to go way down on this. I'm going to give it 5 being average, Josh.
Yep.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
If it wasn't as slow as it was, I do like the story and the twist at the end. That probably pulled it up a couple. I mean, I originally came out of the theater to my wife. I said it's about a 5. And then once I started thinking more about that story and the twist at the end, that's why I moved it up to a 6.
Did you enjoy it better than last week's movie Wolfman?
Probably I gave them both a 6, so I'd say they're very, very comparable.
I enjoyed it a little bit more
I
than
like the
Wolfman.
storyline better on this than I did Wolfman.
I think I enjoyed this. I think I gave Wolfman a 7. So this, I enjoyed this a little bit more. But yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
All right, guys, tell us what you think. Do you really think the brother is the ghost the whole time? Do you think there's another entity there? I've seen a couple reviews. Some people say it is. Some people say it's not. Tell us what you think about it. But that ending, if you think of it as him being the ghost the whole time,
it makes sense.
It's a whole new perspective on the movie. And now my wife's like, I got to see it again.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, have a good one, Josh.